We are live. I'm going to wait to do an intro while it buffers probably, and I'm going to start playing some music as soon as this can go. There we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Prop Live. I need a tagline. Your weekly dose of prop and costume making questions and answers. Nailed it. We have a special day today because we have a guest in the studio. Whenever I can get someone to join me in the shop, I go for it. And we've got Eric here. Eric is another local Seattle area person, another prop and costume maker. And he does this thing he calls Coregeek. And I'm going to show it off. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I am doing just great.
How was the drive?
Not too bad.
Yeah, pretty nice day out here in Seattle.
Beautiful weather. Beautiful weather. 72 all day today.
Very nice. Eric does this really rad thing. Coregeek.net is where you can go find out more about the really cool stuff that he's made. I saw one of your swords at Dragon Con. One of your Sif swords.
Oh, yeah. Alyssa?
Yep, my friend Alyssa had one.
Yeah.
And it looked really good.
I was really surprised when she contacted me because she was like, hey, I need a sword and I need it like tomorrow.
Yep.
I was like, I'm your guy.
So, yeah, Eric makes really rad stuff. Here's the Sif sword we're talking about and a bunch of copies and really neat stuff. So you guys should definitely go look up Coregeek Cosplay and Creations on Facebook or just go to coregeek.net and you can follow Eric and all of his fantastic shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, you did a giveaway recently.
Yeah, so I decided to do a little promotion for the Sif sword and giving away an unfinished version. Mm-hmm. Mostly it's unfinished because I'm too lazy to finish it. Yeah. So,
and we were just talking too. It's when you try and sell stuff, it's way easier to sell the unfinished stuff. Then people can customize it and personalize it themselves. You can sell it for cheaper, and you can make a lot more of them a lot faster.
Yeah. So my official take on it is I am promoting the do-it-yourself cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
So the sword's ready to go. You just have to paint it and finish it. So if you want to dive in a little bit, but don't feel like you want to make the whole thing, then paint away.
There you go. So do you want to announce who won?
Yeah, so I had over 400 entries,
which
was pretty amazing. So, and the winner is, without ado, Beverly Dowen, D-O-W-E-N, Dowen. Not quite sure how to say her last name.
I think you got it.
Congratulations, Beverly.
Yay!
It'll be in the mail soon as I get an address from you.
Fantastic. Cool. I did a giveaway as well recently. I already announced it on my Facebook page earlier, but I gave away a hand cannon from Destiny, and that's on its way to England now. So.
And he seriously did give it away, too. I was hoping to see it today, and it's already gone.
I did. It's out the door. I did not mess around.
Yeah.
We have one more tiny guest right there.
Oh, yeah. I brought Groot with me.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get
him up in the camera. He can just sneak up right here.
Hello, people.
Little tiny Groot. So he's going to be watching us while we... I
actually brought him to get a picture with the hand cannon pointed at him. Because I thought
I ruined it.
Because I thought it'd be kind of funny, but, oh well. Thanks for nothing.
Yep. All right. What else? Oh, so folks watching, we got people coming on into the live thing right there. You can ask your questions through the Q&A app in the event page, and they're starting to roll in, and we'll get to those in just a moment. But I have one more thing that I want to talk about before we start taking questions, and here it is. Ta-da! I started a Patreon page.
Yay.
What's Patreon, you might ask? Well, the fantastic thing about Patreon, it's a way for people to support content if they want to. And for example, for Prop Live, the show is free on YouTube or live or whenever I do it. It's always going to be free, and that's great. If you want to help out and throw some money at the show, you can. And there are some levels. We have some goals. And the idea here is if a lot of people do start chucking money at it, we can start upgrading aspects of the show. I want to be able to do like detailed show notes with all of links to all the products and tools and techniques that we talk about. I want to be able to convert the audio portion into a podcast feed, which is something that a lot of people have been asking for. Then I want to start upgrading things like the camera, this crappy camera that we're dealing with right here. So anyway, patreon.com/punishedprops is where you can go check that out. There's a video explaining the whole thing. And again, if you want to help out, it's there for you to help out. And if you either can't afford it or just don't want to, that's fine too. You can keep watching the show, keep showing up, keep spreading the word.
Hey, Bill.
Yep.
Do you have any supporters yet?
I have one.
You have one? Okay. Well,
$1.
Okay.
Woo!
I will be your next $1 supporter.
Well, you don't know that unless you log in right now and do it.
Well, I'll do it. That's fine.
I'm just saying someone might do it by the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
Before you have a chance to be the next one.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I will support you in some way.
Fantastic.
I'm going on record.
$2.
You have 2 supporters now.
Yeah. And the best part about it too is you can throw whatever you want at it. It's per episode. So every week that we have an episode, it'll ping that. You can set a maximum amount so you don't go over budget if you're supporting a lot of shows like I do on Patreon. And it's just a really neat way to sort of give back if you feel like the show or whatever content is bringing some value to you. So there you go. Patreon.com/punishedprops. Go check it out.
Go support the show, guys.
Oh yeah. That's it. That's all I had to announce for today. I think we should start taking some of these fantastic questions that people have been throwing at us.
Sounds like fun.
All right. We grabbed a couple earlier today on Facebook, so I'll start chewing through those. Noah wants to know, have you ever used elastic to make a piece of foam armor stretch, like a bicep piece, for example? I want to do Captain Rex. I don't know what Captain Rex is, but I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Captain Rex either.
Oh, this is a dude from Star Wars, one of the
gotcha.
Clone Trooper dudes. So he wants to do, let's see, Captain Rex, keep it as thin as possible, like the cartoon. Many of the pieces are so tight that I'd be worried that I'd break them if I move my armor leg. So you can make segmented armor out of foam and put elastic on the back of it so that it will stretch. In fact, on my Shepherd armor, I made the torso part on the back stretch so that when I bend over, the segmented parts will slide out from one another and I can actually bend over, which was kind of nice. I'm not sure about that. Captain Rex has many places that you can do that. The foam itself won't really stretch all that much. So elastic won't necessarily add that. But let's look at a picture of him here. Let's look at a bigger picture of Captain Rex. I should have the default be large pictures. And this guy, I think. There we go. We have an image. I'll do a screen share, and there we go. So this dude right here. So places where the armor overlaps, the bicep piece, what you might do is put a seam on it, and then put elastic behind it so that the overlap can stretch a little bit. And when when you flex and your giant pipes make the armor expand. So it can be done. You just may have to modify the armor to accommodate any sort of overlap. So there you go. You, Eric, you been making any armor lately? Or are you thinking about it? Or
so the Loki, which you've seen, I don't know if anybody else has seen it. That's the last armor job I did for my daughter, and it's in there somewhere in the photos.
What about something possibly? Oh, this is a good picture because I'm in it.
Yeah, look at that. That was Worbla. I haven't done a foam armor build yet, but the next armor I do is going to be a foam armor build. So.
Oh yeah. Well, what about for you though? Are you going to have an armor for yourself?
It's for me.
Yes, fantastic.
It's for me.
All right.
But I'm not going to share what it is yet.
Nope. Okay. Keep it tight to the chest. I understand.
That'll be for Emerald City in this coming year. So.
All right. Here's another question. This one's from M. Which must-have tool would you recommend to someone who is new to foam smithing and on a budget? So you started working with EVA foam, or?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. I would say a sharp knife and a sharpener to sharpen that sharp knife. It would be the #1 tool.
So hey, on that note, what sharpener do you use?
I have a Kershaw sharpener, and I'll find it on.
Because I was looking for one the other day, and I didn't know which one to get.
I'll look that up right now.
Maybe other people want to know that too.
So what I really like for knives for cutting foam are those long, let's see, Sharpener. I can't talk and type at the same time. Those long clicky utility knives with the break-off blades. Because you can get the knife to go out like 4 inches and really, if you need to make long cuts or big cuts, and then you can cut with the blade not straight up and down. Where's the camera? Like this, you can cut with it at a very steep angle like that, and you get really nice smooth cuts. This is the sharpener that I got, and my buddy Ted Smith told me all about it. Kershaw Ultratech blade sharpener with 600 grit diamond coated oval shaft.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. You get a little bit of WD-40, spray it on there, and then you sharpen your blades. Every, I don't know, so often when you need it, when you notice that the knife is pulling on the foam a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably one of the most frustrating things when you start working with foam is you think, hey man, you know, this thing's gonna cut really easy because it's like cutting butter now.
Yeah, the
3 or 4 cuts and your blade's dead.
The foam will dull the crap out of your blades.
You ever used a hot knife?
Only a tiny bit. Never to cut through stuff, just to like put
just for detailing and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, thank you, M. Let's keep this crazy train rolling. Jay Cosplay wants to know, what tips do you have when it comes to packing commissions? Do you use standard cardboard boxes and reinforce them somehow, or do you make custom wooden boxes? If so, any tips on how to whip one up? How are those Sith swords getting sent out?
I got really lucky on that one. They fit in a tube.
Yeah. Oh, they're really,
because it doesn't have a huge hilt on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that or hilt or the piece up by the blade. Pommel.
There we go.
Or the other end. So yeah, they're really narrow. I had to buy 4-inch packing tubes, which kind of stinks because I couldn't find them in bulk. So each one of those tubes cost me $11.
Oh no!
But it's an easy way to package.
Not at Uline?
No, I tried Uline, but they wanted to sell me like 25, and like way too many. And
so whenever I can, I look for bulk packing supplies. For example, I'm doing a lot of space gun kits. So I went to Uline and I bought a pallet of
if you know you're going to sell a ton, then you can do the bulk. But
if it's something unique and totally custom, for example, the Mass Effect rifle I recently made, I built a box out of wood. So I used like 1x6s for the sides,
like a packing crate, basically.
Yeah. And then 1/4-inch plywood for the top and the bottom, and that thing got drilled together. And then I used like layers of inch thick upholstery foam, or that just normal foam stuff, the squishy foam, and I made layers and cutouts so that it fit perfectly in there, and then I sandwiched it together.
Yeah, and then it looks really cool too.
It does look really neat
when the client gets it and they open it. They're like, wow, this is awesome.
I like spray painted my logo on it. Yeah, and I put like the N7 logo on it and stuff too.
Who doesn't want a cool wooden crate coming to their door?
So that's how I do that for like especially big things you don't want to bend or flex at all when they're, because man, they just pummel your stuff when you're sending it with anyone that mails stuff. They will beat the crap out of it.
Yeah, without a doubt. I actually got one of my swords. It went to Ireland and it made it in that particular tube. So I was pretty happy with that.
There you go. We got a shop invader. There's one Will Morgan over there. I'll have to have him back on the show sometime soon.
I'm just gonna call him Mocha Chip Man for now.
Mocha Chip, venti Mocha Chip Frappuccino. All right, let's grab some.
Oh, Java Chip.
Java Chip. Let's start grabbing some from the Q&A app here. John wants to know, Bill, I've recently been experimenting with fiberglass resin to harden EVA foam. So far, it seems to work beautifully. I'm curious why so many people don't like the idea of fiberglass resin and EVA foam. Why? What am I not seeing? So fiberglass resin is toxic and hard to, a little more expensive and harder to use when you're working in like an apartment. So one of the reasons why the EVA foam is great is all you need is a cutting surface, a knife, some glue, and some foam, and you can get going. When you start introducing fiberglass resin, you start needing a place that's ventilated so that you don't, get, what's the word?
Dead.
Well, apparently,
apparently
that will cause depression if you huff too much fiberglass resin.
Wow, I didn't realize that. All I know is I started using barge recently, and that stuff's pretty potent too.
It's pretty potent too.
I doubt it's not nearly as bad as fiberglass resin though.
Yeah. So there are limitations to using fiberglass resin. It is great. The helmets that I'll have to show you those later. We have our Skyrim helmets upstairs.
Oh, your joggers?
Yeah, those were done in craft foam, the EVA, the thinner, like 6mm stuff, and then reinforced with fiberglass. Getting the base shape with foam is great because it's so fast.
Yeah.
And if you screw up, it's easy to start over. Then once you have that shape, it got hit with a layer of just the resin and then a layer of fiberglass cloth with resin, and it's rock solid now.
Yeah, I've actually seen yours up close and in person, so it's pretty stellar.
Well, you could meet Buddha Cat too.
Oh, I definitely.
He's like a celebrity.
Buddha Cat. I mean, come on. we have a cat at our house.
Yeah,
we call her Fat Butt.
Fat Butt. Yeah. Probably get along with Buddha Cat.
Yeah. Or FBK for short. Fat Butt Kitty.
Yeah. So John, that's probably why not a lot of people are using fiberglass. I like to use fiberglass. I have a room, like a paint room, where I can use it, and importantly, have room to hang it up while it's curing, which is great.
So how would you compare fiberglass resin to something like Epsilon?
It's very similar.
Less toxic though, or about the same?
Probably the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really take any chances. So all of that, like when we were Epsiloning our stuff, we did it all in the paint room.
Yeah, got you.
In fact, I did a demo and I was all out of Epsilon, so I just used fiberglass resin, and it was pretty similar. The main difference with Epsilon is it has a different viscosity, and it doesn't. It's better for vertical surfaces and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Won't pool as much.
Yeah.
But if you like your fiberglass, go nuts. It works really, really well.
I've seen some amazing stuff done with fiberglass.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
So.
All right. Valentine, I'm going to say Valentine, wants to know, I'm making a Halo pistol with a removable magazine. I made a 2-part silicone mold, but I have a problem. The piece of silicone that replaces the magazine doesn't stay right in the mold. So I can't put a magazine in the cast. How can I fix it? I have made a 2-part silicone mold, but I just wasted a lot of silicone. Yeah. Learning how to make molds means wasting a lot of silicone, which I've done a lot of.
I got really lucky on my first silicone mold. Yeah. So the Sif sword, I had to cut it out, but it still works.
Yeah. I've had to cut molds apart.
But man, silicone is expensive.
Let me see. The piece of silicone that replaces the magazine doesn't stay right in the mold. Oh, so what he means is there's like a cavity where the magazine slides into the handle, let's say.
Sounds like
it's like a big piece of silicone, but it's probably not rigid enough to stay in place. So it's after it pulls out, you've got something else to deal with. You got to clean it up before you can slide a magazine in there. So you can buy silicone in different levels of rigidity.
Rigid.
Yeah, that's what the numbers mean. So like
hardness.
Sure. The Mold Star 15 or whatever. Let's see here. Mold Star silicones. So there's Mold Star 15, 16, 20T, 30. As it goes up, shore hardness. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Throwing it out there.
So the higher the number, the less floppy it's going to be, basically. But if that piece you're doing is going to be really long, anyway, you may not be able to avoid that. But you could build in like a support piece or something. Yeah, it's tricky. You may have to cast that and maybe cast it without that cavity. Just a place where it's going to be. Rotocast the whole thing. And then build a separate piece that fits into that cavity. It would get really, really complicated. The other thing you can do is if the magazine is a long, thin piece, make the mold so that that piece hangs vertical, so that gravity isn't going to pull it side to side.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, that's tricky. That's a really tricky problem you have there, Valentine. So good luck. Hopefully I've helped you in some way. All right, more from the Q&A app. This one's from Matthew. Matthew says, recently had a bad run-in with aerosol sprays, weakening the DAP weldwood contact cement on my foam stuff. Just wondering if you've had an issue like that with Barge. I am a convert to Barge. I had some of that DAP weldwood stuff. But my shopmate Will has a bunch of barge, and I started using that, and it's kind of better.
I just started using barge recently. I actually used to always use DAP Weldwood woodworking stuff for doing veneer. So, and it always worked great for veneer, but you guys really like your barge. So I thought,
do.
I'm going to jump on the barge.
I've never had anything at all make barge not work anymore. Like it's pretty.
That stuff seems really solid.
It really is.
Once it's down, it's
just, the best thing you could do is to buy a small can of it and give it a go yourself. But my guess is you'll be like, wow, this stuff's amazing. There's a reason why everybody says that's the stuff to go with. Okay,
use it in a ventilated area, though.
Yes, it's stinky.
It's pretty strong.
Mikhail wants to know, what's the best way to make Worbla hot car proof? Would you seal the entire piece with resin before painting? So I haven't done much Worbla, but Eric has, and you start talking because I'm going to find your Worbla helmet.
Hot carproof. I honestly don't know because Worbla definitely, it's a thermoplastic. So you start applying heat. It's not on that one. If you go to, go scroll back up.
Where am I going?
Scroll back up to the top there. If you go costume builds, go prop builds, and then the helmet.
There.
Loki helmet. That one right there. Oops. Right
there we go. All right. Well, it's Internet 101 with Bill and Eric.
Hey. So hot car proof, I'm really not sure. I would definitely be careful not leaving it in a hot car. I don't know if you could actually proof it because you're always going to have that base, which is reacts to heat.
Yep, it's meant
so
to.
No matter what you seal it with, if it heats up, it's not going to protect it from heat.
So this is the King Loki helmet that Eric built on a batting helmet. I like going back and forth. I'm like, this turned into that.
And heavily modified the batting helmet too.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of a hybrid. The reason I have that other photo on there is it's kind of a hybrid between the two styles of helmet of his.
Yeah.
Because of the shape of the batting helmet, I had to kind of tweak,
make some accommodations
for it because the batting helmet actually has a little bit different of a shape to it.
So this is and again, if you guys go to coregeek.net, you can see this whole build, and it's really fantastic. You did a lot of stuff. I was impressed by the finishing on it because Worbla has a texture that's kind of hard to get rid of.
Yeah, the finish has kind of become a life of its own.
Yeah.
I even had Jesse Loggers at Rose City kind of drooling over it and asking me about it because apparently either that day or the day before he had said in his panel that don't use Worbla if you want really smooth finish. You can't get it smooth.
He was just here 2 days ago.
Was he really?
Yeah, he stopped by.
That's awesome. Yeah, I finally got to meet him. So
nice guy, that Jesse. So that's the thing. If you're working with a product that's supposed to become malleable with heat, then it's gonna get malleable with heat. And
I just don't see a way to.
Yep. That's why I like my EVA foam.
and that's really understandable.
And barge too. Because you can use hot glue, but even hot glue can heat up.
Yeah, I've had hot glue
and come apart.
Fail just from body heat. So there's a possibility.
There you go. So just be very careful about your Worbla armor in the back seat of your car if you go to Arizona because that place is really hot.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Or only live in
Seattle. Why would you live anywhere else?
Yeah, exactly.
This question's coming from Ultimus 787. I bought some EVA mats from Harbor Freight for $10 recently and thought I was getting a great deal, but was sad to find so many more voids and air bubbles than previous purchase. What would you use to fill those voids? If you are worried about like little bubbles and stuff, and it's a fact, if you get the cheap floor mats from Harbor Freight, they have more of those little bubbles in them. You will that's just what's going to happen, but they are the cheapest ones. And if you're not too worried about the texture, or if you're going to cover it with something, then go nuts. We were talking about Epsilon. You can use Epsilon. It's an epoxy filler or resin for coating foam, and that will fill it in. And you just brush a couple layers on and sand it down, and you're good to go. This WeSellMats.com. This is where my shopmate Will gets all of his. Place called WeSellMats.com, and it is more expensive.
Are their quality a little better though?
But they're a lot better.
Yeah, because I've noticed that with the Harbor Freight ones I bought, they do have quite a few pocks. And
if you're making weathered armor, you want it to look beat up, you're not too worried about it. It's not a big deal. But they have different thicknesses too. They have, you know, stuff that you can pick from. You can get them. I think it's like 25 bucks for a 6-pack. They have ones that have wood grain on them, apparently. They have a bunch of different colors. Let's see. The normal 1/2 inch is what I usually get. So let's go 1/2 inch EVA foam mats. I should really get kickback for some of this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, 20 bucks for the 1/2 inch floor mats, and I do believe they come in a 6-pack. 24 square feet of coverage per pack. And all of these colors, which is really cool. Yeah, 6 tiles, 20 or 30 bucks. I'm sorry, 6 tiles plus borders for a 4 foot by 6 foot area. So that place Will has a bunch of them in there. They look fantastic.
So a little more expensive, but still,
yeah,
quite a bit cheaper than something like Worbla. Worbla's
and if you're
pricey,
if your armor, yeah, it really is. If your armor is a color, like one of these colors here, they have black, gray, light gray, blue, brown. They have all these different colors. And you want to just start with a base color, then just buy them that color. You're good to go. Yeah.
Especially if you're looking for a great finish and you have some nicks or whatever. It's not going to show.
There you go. Okay. We got one here from Johnny.
Hey, I know Johnny. Hey, Johnny. How's it going?
Johnny says, when you're considering a project, what aspect is most appealing? The difficulty of the project, excuse to try a new process, being a fan of the source, details in the piece, and so on. I tend to be drawn in by the aesthetics of whatever the piece is. I will pick, like, I've never done the Daedric armor from Skyrim, even though it's the best armor. I like the really beat up, like we did the Ancient Nord armor. I love the aesthetics of that way more than how cool it is in the video game. In fact, I think the Daedric armor looks kind of dumb. I'm just throwing that out there.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Right. But how visually appealing a costume or a piece is to me is generally my first, what first draws me to it and makes me want to recreate it. How about you?
So you may not know this about me that much, but most of my stuff's been for my daughters. So it usually comes down to, hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, what do you think of this?
Yep.
There was one the other day because we've been talking about Rose City or Emerald City and stuff because I got to start building things for that. And my youngest, I can't remember what the costume was now, but she showed me a picture. I'm like, no way. I mean, that is really awesome, but it would take me like 2 years to build.
Yeah.
Because I'm like really slow. I have another job, so doing those builds take a while.
Yeah.
But usually, it comes down to, I like to find something that maybe is a little different, something that is going to offer a challenge, whether it's learning a new material to work with. Like the next one to do for myself is EVA, because I haven't worked at EVA yet. Extend, like in a big build. So yeah, usually it's whatever my kids tell me they want.
Yep.
Speaking of, I am going to start, she's going to do Fierce Deity Link. I don't know if you know that.
I'll look it up.
So that's one build I'm going to be doing that I can talk about. So,
another thing that I like is if a project gives me the excuse to buy a new power tool.
Yeah,
then I will jump at it.
That's like an old woodworking thing too.
Yeah,
I come from a woodworking background, and you always choose a project that you get a new tool with.
Yeah.
So you have to do this.
Is that this guy?
Yeah, that's Fierce Deity Link there.
All right, I'll share it on the thing here.
So that's one I'm gonna be working on. Probably EVA. I don't know. I haven't really decided for all that yet.
Yeah, I think EVA would be really good for all these armor pieces.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, you could even do the whole giant sword out of EVA too.
Yeah,
because you can make 2 flat pieces and then they would bend over each other.
And then intertwine them. Yeah, I was considering that, or either maybe doing it out of pink insulation foam.
Speaking
and
of
doing
that,
Epsilon or on there. Oh, Steven
just made this. Speaking of stuff for the kids.
Yeah. Speaking of daughters,
that's all foam.
That's an amazing build.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
He's just such a good painter.
Oh
my God. I mean, he builds incredible. His painting is just
touch above.
Steven,
if you're watching, you're one of the big kids now.
Yeah, exactly. Jealous of your painting skills.
Yep. All right, let's grab another question here. Thank you, Johnny, for yours. This one's from Nate. Dear Bill, I'm going to be building the Titan from Destiny out of foam and Peppercura. What tips do you have for our foam armor making and Peppercura helmet making? Well, if you can get your hands on those Peppercura files, then awesome. I haven't looked for them yet. I want to build a Titan from Destiny. I really do. That's what I've been playing.
Who doesn't want to build a Titan?
I know.
Destiny. I haven't even played Destiny, and I want to build a Titan from Destiny. I got the game yesterday, though. It's sitting on my desk at home.
You have a PS4? What do you?
It's PS3, so I don't know what it's going to play like on there. But
it's really pretty on the PS4.
I have a whole family. I couldn't afford a PS4.
See, I have 2 fat cats. They're fairly cheap. Tips for Pepakura. Have you done any Pepakura?
I have not done any Pepakura. So,
well, I'll tell you what, Nate. If you can, especially sizing and scaling it to fit you is going to be the first sort of roadblock. So, don't spend a ton of time cutting out lots of tiny detail pieces the first run that you're doing, because you may glue it all together and then find out it won't even fit on your head,
and you wasted a whole bunch of time.
A whole bunch of time. So do really fast sort of mock-ups once you have that Pepakura file all flattened out and ready to go. And then scale it up, scale it down, print it out, cut it out again really fast again, just to see that you get the scale right. And all of the pieces, it depends on where you get your Pepakura files from, may or may not be scaled uniformly across all the pieces. So the head might be scaled a little bigger than the arms or whatever, based on your body size and everything. So don't get so caught up in finishing all those details that you do that and find out it doesn't fit.
So I actually considered doing the Loki helmet out of Pepakura, because there's actually a pretty good Loki file out there that's on the RPF. And I looked into it a little bit, but I'm a Mac only guy, and you can't run any Pepakura on a Mac. So.
Oh, crap. I need to know that. I didn't know that. I'm replacing this machine with a Mac soon.
Yeah, so you'll probably have to learn to dual boot or something like that, so you can run Pepakura on the Windows side or something.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a bummer. Apparently you can export, if you know, if you have another computer, you can export it as like a PDF and then bring it over. But there's no Pepakura for Mac. So if you use a Mac, you're kind of
good to know.
Out of luck.
I do. My gaming PC upstairs is Windows.
Gotcha.
I can do it on.
So I just don't have any Windows machines in my house. So.
Yeah.
They're not allowed. No, I'm just
get out. You won't be getting Windows 10, skipping 9.
Yeah, I noticed they conveniently skipped 9.
Yep. All right. Good luck with your Pepakura, Nate. This last one here is from John Turner. Any tips for casting very small pieces like this out of resin? And he sent a link, and I've got it ready to go there. Boop. There it is. This is I'm guessing a really tiny little like gaming piece, like a. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look at that. For a little board game. Little dude. That's been 3D printed. You want to use a resin that has a very low viscosity, something that's as watery as possible. I'm going to say that Smoothcast 300 is probably going to be good for it. You can have a really tiny mold. And the problem with not a lot of resin is you don't have the weight of the resin to push the resin down and the air bubbles out. So what I've done in the past is I'll get throwaway disposable eyedroppers, and I'll find some right now. They're, I guess, eyedroppers, disposable. There we go. These guys right here. So pipettes. Plastic transfer pipettes, 3 milliliters. You can get them in different milliliter amounts. A pack of 100 is $5. I have more of these than I know what to do with because I got a giant box of them. And what you can do is mix up a tiny batch of resin. And I would recommend, if you're making a tiny mold like that, set up like 5 of them. Then you can pipette little bits of resin in there, and you can sort of force the resin into the mold and hopefully push any air bubbles out.
I guess it'd be I was gonna say, does air channels at all work for that? But I guess that'd be a one-piece mold. So
you can still cut. You can do a 1-part mold with vents cut into it.
Can you?
Yeah, you just have to. You will end up with a seam, but if it's small enough, the silicone will hold itself together. As opposed to doing a 2-part mold, you could do it in a 1-part mold for sure. And I think a 1-part mold for this, you would still need to cut seams underneath the arms and stuff. Yeah, so use some little pipettes. That's what I would recommend. It's really cheap, and use a low viscosity resin. And if you still have air bubbles and stuff, then you may have to experiment with some other resins. There you go. All right. Let's get another question here. Thank you guys so much for sending these. This is really great. Corey is a big fan of foam PVC board. A lot of people call that Sintra. That's a company that makes it, one of the companies. Corey usually uses palate cutoffs from work. I don't know. Which is a tin stabilized PVC foam. I'm going to look that up right now.
I haven't heard of that.
Me neither. I love learning new stuff on this show. Premium foam PVC.
My favorite part of this show too.
Yeah. Yep. It looks like it's similar to
Sintra.
Sintra. Okay. Corey continues. I know Sintra's popular, but it uses lead as a stabilizing agent. Oh no. Wonder if you knew a good public source of palate as a safer alternative. That makes me wonder. I go to Tap Plastics for all of my PVC foam sheet.
I love Tap Plastics
because we have it local. You ever go to the one in Bellevue? That's my favorite.
No, I'm closest to the one in Linwood, so I usually find myself at that one.
So foam PVC sheet from Tap Plastics. I wonder what kind they use.
What their curing agent is.
Store locations. Blah 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 blah. I'll have to look into it some more. But the other thing too, like you don't really realize it when you go to a place like Tap. They have a whole array of like acrylics there in a lot of different colors. They don't all come from the same source, and some of them are extruded and some of them are cast, and the difference in price is extreme based on the different ones. The difference in quality can be pretty extreme. So not all plastics are created equal, as Corey has pointed out. I didn't realize that there were different means to stabilize the PVC.
It makes sense, but that's a new one on me too.
Yep. So when you guys are shopping for your plastics, then grill the people that sell it and see what they have to say. I'm not sure if using lead or tin makes a difference in safety or not. I definitely never, ever want to ever breathe in anything that's PVC. If your PVC is melting, that's really bad.
Yep.
Don't put it in a laser cutter. Don't sand it so much that it melts. And don't breathe in the dust. All right.
Great material to work with, though.
It is. I love PVC foam sheets. I do have tons of it. Usually when I go to Tap, I go to their bin of cutoffs.
The cutoff bin.
Yeah, and I just stack up all the...
It's like a treasure trove.
Yep, all the styrene and all the PVC sheet. I just put those on the... They sell it by the weight.
You get all the different thicknesses. And...
Yeah. All right. Ace Division. Ace Division? What's the best way to add support to a casting or suspend your support in the mold when casting? This might be similar to our gun magazine cavity thing.
We'll just call that wobbly parts casting.
Yeah. A lot of times when you're doing mold making, you may have to cut supports into the mold that will get removed later once you cast a part. So the sift sword is one long piece.
Yep.
No problem. But sometimes you either have to cut vents or support pieces into your mold that look like extra dangly bits, but fortunately you can cut those off later. So a lot of time, like the sprues, the casting sprues, the air vents, all that stuff. It really depends on the situation, on the thing you're making, on where you might need it. So it is very situational. Other than that, I mean, that's the only.
Yeah,
you may have to get creative.
Limited casting experience. So.
Yep. If you do have a specific thing and you want more help on it, just shoot me an email and with like a picture of what you're making, and I'll totally help you out. Another one from Nate. What are some tools you love in your shop, and what would you like to have?
Wow.
I mean, well, let me get the list of the tools I want.
It's like, what wouldn't I like to have?
Well, what's your favorite?
My favorut tool in my whole shop?
Yeah. This guy right here is my favorite tool.
Yeah. Wow. I don't use it a lot for cosplay stuff, but I really love my table saw.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too. Again,
woodworking background, my table saw, I just really, really love it a lot.
Yeah, I don't have one of those, and I'm running out of space for one, but I would really like to have one. My Dremel is way up there. I have a not a Dremel, it's a rotary tool. It's a Craftsman rotary tool.
Rotary tools.
And
definitely at the top of the list.
Yeah, that one's way up there.
Almost everybody.
I'll tell you what, though, I just picked up this guy here, and it just came in the mail like an hour ago. This company Proxon makes these cool little power tools, and you need this little transformer thing because it's 12 volts for all their little tools. So this thing this is for their rotary tool. So they have their own little adorable rotary tool.
Very cool.
And that plugs into the little transformer. So I bought that transformer, and I also got a pen sander. So this is like a pen-sized,
that's amazing,
tiny sander for sanding. It's got all these little heads that are all different shapes, and you stick sandpaper on it, and you sand out little stuff. I just got it, and I'm looking forward to it.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
it's on Amazon Prime too. So
because I ordered it 2 days ago, and I have it now.
Yeah, Amazon Prime's like the worst thing ever. I mean, the greatest, but worst thing ever.
Best thing ever. So that thing is super neat, and I just got that.
Does it vibrate?
Yeah, it goes side to side.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it moves like, I want to say maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
It doesn't move very much.
Vibrate sander.
Yeah.
Very, very detailed. Sounds
for
awesome.
doing tiny, tiny detail work, which I end up, when I do it, I have a little piece of sandpaper that I fold up like this, and I'm just like, and hopefully this will replace that.
That would be awesome.
And I'm willing to bet that I could take the stem from one of those and cast my own shape things.
Oh, that would be
yeah. And I'll start selling them custom Proxon pen sander heads for Punish Props.
That would be great.
Get in on that market.
Anything that makes sanding easier. Because man, I hate sanding.
Yeah. Oh, the picture here is.
I love building stuff, but I hate sanding.
Yeah. And then the tool I want coming up soon, I'm going to be getting one. Has got to be a laser cutter.
Yeah, I would die for a laser cutter. 3D printer would be amazing. Any of those new fangled gadgets.
A laser cutter is high on my list. And then, actually, I just ordered an oscillating spindle sander.
I have the oscillating bench version, so it can be a belt sander or a spindle sander.
Is that the rigid one?
Yeah, it's only like $200, and that's okay. You know what? I actually really love that one too.
as a woodworking
tabletop. Oh no, for anything. I mean, I probably use that sander more than anything for any kind of project, whether it's woodworking or.
So this is the guy I just grabbed, the Shopbox 1/2 horsepower single phase oscillating spindle sander.
Yep.
I'm going to be making a bow soon out of wood and whatnot. So awesome. I figured this would be a really good
actually, as a matter of fact, the Loki staff.
Yep.
I did all the I did a rough cut on that out of pine, the main staff part, but all the rest of the shaping of that was all done on my spindle sander.
Yes.
So
cool.
Couldn't do that by hand.
So laser cutter and the spindle sander. All right. We could probably just talk about tools for the next 15
I could
minutes.
gush about every tool that I own. I love tools.
All right, here we go. We got one from Krista. What strapping would you recommend for EVA foam, and how would you set it? Well, you're going to be in luck, Krista, when I release my next ebook, which is all about strapping EVA foam armor. Let me see if I
think that deserves an yeah.
There's this website called Strapworks. And look at this, Strapworks.
Holy
they
cow.
have a crap load of straps.
Wow.
Like if you want patterned polyester, polypropylene, ribbon with patterns and stuff on it. I usually will just order a roll of black, like inch wide black strapping and 2 inch wide for like belts and stuff. They have all of the buckles and belts and hooks and O-rings and D-rings and tools. So cool, and it's way cheaper than anywhere else you're going to find it. So go to Strapworks, start there. And then I like to hot glue my straps to with EVA foam. What's all the strapping done on Loki? What'd you do for that?
Okay, so a little secret. There's not one strap on that costume. It's all Velcro.
Oh, there you go. Do you ever use the Velcro that goes back on itself? Like the what do they call it? The double-sided stuff?
No, I haven't. I've seen it, but I haven't used it.
I tried it.
No, man, I bought like Amazon Prime. They have like, you can get like a huge. I think I even mentioned it on your show one time.
Yeah,
you get this huge roll for like $10.
Yeah, yeah.
And one thing nice about Worbla is
I'm gonna order some webbing right now.
The adhesive on the Velcro sticks really well to the raw Worbla.
Oh, okay, that's good.
And hot glue too. So if you have to hot glue it on, that's great.
One tip I will give you: when you have the EVA foam and you're gonna hot glue your nylon webbing to the back of it, take that area and just score it with a knife so that you have something for the hot glue to seep into and make it more grippy. Yeah,
always a good idea to rough up your spots you're gluing. That's true with just about any material.
There you go.
Onto it.
All right, there you go, Krista. Thank you for your question. Strapworks.com. I gotta actually make sure I make a note of this. This has to go in my next ebook.
Did you just run across that randomly, or did somebody?
No, I've used this before.
Oh, okay.
I have a doc going for my thing, and I gotta make a note. Jeff wants to know helmet making again. Let's see. He got the Amazon visor and it's awesome. So he wanted to know about visors last week. I said just buy a motorcycle visor because it'll get you like 90% of the way there.
Yep. They look good too.
He's cut out and glued my helmet with foam. What's the best way to shape it and get the cut corners and lines for that perfect look? Should I cover with resin or Bondo or prime it first? For the foam, a lot of times if the shape isn't quite right, you may have to just rebuild the piece. And the way you cut and glue your seams together is how you get your forms, like that round head form. So if it's not quite right, you may have to recut your seams. What's really great about foam is if it's a little bit big, you can cut out like a dart, or you can cut the seam out and then just re-glue that same piece. If you want to finish it, like you're saying, sanding it and bondoing it, then you're going to have to start doing things like we were talking about earlier, where you fiberglass it or cover it in like 3 or 4 layers of Epsilon, and then you can sand it and bondo it, and then prime it before you paint it. That is the order of operations. And there's my notes. There we go. All right, I keep coming up with this. I'm like, I got to come up with more like affiliate programs with like Strapworks. See if I can.
Man, you're pushing all these companies.
See if I can get a kickback from Strapworks now. All right.
No doubt.
So there you go, Jeff. Good luck with your foam helmet. With your Loki helmet, you did just tons and tons of gesso over that and a lot of sanding, right?
Yeah, I came up with a 4-step process. Mm-hmm. It might be overkill, but it was the combination I liked. I did tons of testing with Worbla pieces, and I tried.
That's the key right there. Testing on like scrap pieces and stuff before you commit.
And I keep meaning to make like like you did you just put out a little thing yesterday.
Oh yeah, for where to buy EVA foam.
Yeah. So I've been meaning to put all those little chunks together and take a photo of it and label what was what,
Yeah, so, exactly. Like a little infographic.
I know like some amazing builders really, really like wood glue.
They do actually. My wife was just using some of that.
Yeah, and it was all right. I just didn't like working with it.
What Eric's talking about here is I put this little thing together, where to buy EVA foam, the EVA foam buying guide. And these are the different thicknesses that I like to use, and this is where I get them.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go for it.
If you go back to my website for a minute, I actually made for the process that I use. If you go under prop builds, Worbla smoothing, how to. There you go. That is fantastic. Again, everyone, coregeek.net. Go check it out. And there is some awesome sauce stuff. So I met her. Alicia.
I think so. Vertfixen,
Yeah, she's super nice.
Yeah, she was at Phoenix Comic Con.
So she, I helped consult her with that, with her costume when she was building it. So,
cool.
Because she really liked the Loki finish, and so super nice gal.
There you go. All right, thank you, Jeff. We've got just under 10 minutes here. Let's chew through a couple more questions before we roll out of here. Nate says, what tips do you have for making blueprints for foam armor? Eric, have you ever made a torso casting of someone or yourself?
No.
How about a duct tape dummy?
Duct tape dummy. We did that for my daughter.
Yeah.
So, it was a torso up.
Yep. So you can go look on YouTube for a tutorial on either a duct tape dummy or a plaster bandage casting of a torso. That's what I did. The great thing about a duct tape dummy is you can fill it with like paper, and then just stick pins and stuff in it, which is awesome.
Yeah, you can just abuse it and do whatever you want to with it. So
what I did with mine is I got a plaster bandage torso made of myself, so it's just a little bit bigger than my torso, and then I drew my armor on there. So and then I kind of figured out where the seams would be, and then I laid tape on it, traced it, peeled the tape off, and I had a template, a vague template.
Yeah, it's definitely vague. That's really similar to the process we used for the Loki armor, which was pretty much how Cammy does all her stuff.
Yeah. So what you end up with there, like I said, a vague template, and especially if the pieces are supposed to be built out from your body, not skin tight, you're going to have to make some modifications and do it's a lot of trial and error. You got to remember we're making prototypes here. We're all making prototypes. So lots of trial and error, but to get yourself most of the way there, having a copy of your torso or the torso of the person you're making armor for will get you really far. All right.
Hey, speaking of duct tape forms.
Yeah. Great questions, everyone. This is awesome. Brian just recently made a duct tape form. He's looking for a way to draw armor templates directly onto it without destroying it. I've seen suggestions to wrap it in cling wrap, cover it with masking tape, draw it, then cut out the templates for that. Any other ideas? Mine is just white plaster, and when it gets covered in my drawings, I'll just paint it white again.
Just paint it over.
Yeah, just your spray paint it with whatever, and then start over. And in fact, since my armor was symmetrical, I drew an armor pattern on one side of it
and then flipped it.
Yeah. So right now it's half Commander Shepard and half Draugr armor.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I kind of want to keep it that way.
You should just build the whole costume that way.
That'd be kind of fun. Just
half and half.
Cut them in half. Yeah, just draw right on it, and then once it's done, just paint over it. Because what you could do is build your patterns off of that, and then take those patterns and transfer them to like a thicker cardstock and save those, because that's all you need to make your armor.
And I have used the plastic wrap masking tape way, and it works too. So I mean, it's cheap and it's cheap and works. So
yeah, you can also wrap it all in. What did Ted use? He used foil on a head.
Oh yeah, he did foil on.
Yeah, and then covered that in duct tape and then cut it off. Lots of options.
Yeah, foil might be easier to work with because cling wrap is a pain.
Yeah, it is. All right, Tim Mucci Props wants to know: I'm making a Halo pistol with a removable. This is when we answered.
I guess
earlier. Yep. It got submitted twice. Good luck, Tamuchi Props, with your magazine. We answered it earlier in the stream. Okay, this one's from Adam. You mentioned your new ebook that you use Krylon Fusion as a base coat for the foam. Do you know if Rust-Oleum adheres to plastic line works just as well? I can't seem to get fusions locally. So the reason why Krylon Fusion works so well on plastic and foam is because I believe it has acetone in it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's it's like self-etching, right?
Right.
Basically.
So it chews into the surface a little bit and then it stays there. Rust-Oleum adheres to plastic. I'm assuming that if it claims it's going to adhere to plastic, that's why.
Yeah.
But read the can. If it says it's got acetone in the back, then you're probably good to go. Again, though, the best thing you can do, buy a can, try it out, see how you like it. I personally like Fusion for foam stuff because it does stick to it really, really well, and it dries crazy fast.
I actually, yeah, and something about Krylon sprays, they're my favorite brand.
For
just about
plastic,
anything.
Yeah, for many things, yeah. I end up doing a lot more with like airbrush stuff. And I want to start using more automotive paints. But for if you want to whip out armor fast,
it's like everybody's got their favorite primer, right?
Yeah.
I love the standard gray Krylon primer. That stuff is you can like oversaturate it, because I always end up oversaturating because I hate waiting. And and it dries in like 10 minutes and you can be sanding in no time. Which Who doesn't want to wait to sand?
Yeah, let's get on the sanding train. Other than that, the other thing I wanted to mention, when I did my last ebook, I wanted to have an example where if you didn't wait for your paint to dry and you put masking tape on it to mask a piece off and you peeled it up, how it would pull the paint up. So I spray painted with Krylon Fusion on an armor piece, and I gave it like 10 minutes, and then I put tape right on it. And I was like figuring I would peel it off, it would rip off, and I'd get a good photo for my book.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I mashed the tape on there, and I went, ripped it off. None of it came off. It was flawless.
That stuff sticks.
So what I ended up doing was spray painting, and if we look at the book, you may notice this. I put spray paint on it over it, and then I took the paint or the tape and smeared it on the wet paint, and then I peeled it up.
Then peeled that up.
Yeah. So yeah, good big fan of Krylon Fusion for foam.
Trial and error, right?
Yep.
Trial and error.
All right, let's grab one more question here, and then we're gonna roll on out. Let's do. This is about gesso. If using gesso as a sealant, how many coats would you recommend? I've done. Oh, this is from Awesome Mage 1, by the way. I've done about 5 coats, and I still can't seem to sand it smooth without sanding off all the gesso. Take it away, gesso man.
So I guess it depends on what material you're putting the gesso on. So, you know, and
I'm guessing if there's a lot of texture, then you're gonna need a lot more because it's basically filling the texture.
You know, again with Worbla, my test with Worbla to get it gesso anywhere I wanted it to be, just gesso alone, it would take at least 10 coats.
Oh wow!
And that's the hard version of gesso, which is a little thicker.
Yeah.
So you're gessoing like crazy. So that's why I switched to doing skim coats with wood filler first. Mm-hmm. And then gesso over the top of that.
Yep.
So it kind of the wood filler fills in all the really big pieces or the really big texture, for lack of better words. And then you sand most of that off, but it stays in all those little pocks. And then you go gesso 4 or 5 coats, and then you end up with a lot smoother surface. You don't have to go on from there. I mean, you can stop there, and it looks pretty good.
Right.
But if you want like really good, you got to keep going.
Yep. So 5 is. You're halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah. Gesso is actually pretty thin when it comes down to it as far as what the thickness is when you put it down. So it takes a while.
All right. Well, thank you, Awesome Mage 1, for your question. And thank you, everyone else, for your questions, for showing up and watching this craziness that we do over here in my office. Once again, folks, thank you, Eric, for being here. Coregeek.net is where you can go check out all the fantastic stuff that Eric's been working on, especially this go to prop builds and go to Worbla smoothing how-to. That's really, really helpful stuff right there. And Coregeek Cosplay and Creations on Facebook is where you can go. We can see little Groot here was on his way over here on a field trip.
Photo opportunity missed out. That's all right.
Yeah, next time. And then finally, if you want to help out, support the show, let's refresh the page, see if we had any action. Yes! Woohoo!
All right.
For patrons. Thank you guys so much for chipping in.
Can I mention one thing?
Yeah.
One really quick thing.
What do you got?
Check out Cosplay Boom.
Oh crap, I forgot about that.
And it's not just because both of us are in it.
But that's part of it.
No, not just because my family's in it.
Yeah.
But Todd and Megan really just blew it out of the park with that.
Yeah, our friends Todd and Megan do this series now called Cosplay Boom. They had a Kickstarter for it. It was successful. They've been working their butts off getting footage for this. If you go to YouTube, look up Cosplay Boom Origins Part 1 and 2 is what the first one's called. It's about a half an hour long, and it's got so much heart. It just covers a lot of people kind of telling their story, their origins, and the world of cosplay.
Yeah, it's incredible. Check it out.
Plus, I'm in it.
Like it and leave some comments.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, it only had like 230 comments, and I was just like, come on.
Yeah, leave more and more. So definitely go nuts. Finally, the Patreon thing I've got going on. Thank you guys so much. Already jumping in and helping support the show. Again, you don't have to. It's totally cool. I'm still going to do this. But if you want to help out a bit, then that's a way to do it. Patreon.com/punishedprops. That's it. That's all we got, folks. Thank you, Eric, for showing up.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
And to everyone else, we will see you all again next week here on Prop Live. Bye.